Hello, everybody. It's Holger Müller here from Constellation Research, welcoming you to episodes 128 with my fabulous co-host, Liz Miller. How are you doing, Liz?
Oh, God, I'm good. Are you ready for the next launch of spring part 2 silly season? Spring into summer. We're getting geared up. It's after Easter. We're back on the road. You're in an airport. I think it all works.
Exactly. It's like a soccer game. Easter is halftime break, and then comes the second half, which is a little longer because there's stoppage time. But hey, what was the big news last week?
Let's dig into that enterprise news. Absolutely. Listen, the big news that's happening, and it's going to be happening over the next several weeks, is it's going to be a very, very busy time for marketers. You're going to feel whiplash when it comes to the news because it's going to feel like every single day someone's coming out with a breaking news telegram. We've got HubSpot coming out with some new AEO tools that are going to be generally available. They're coming out of beta. They will be available to all HubSpot users. You are going to see massive news, at least coming out for the SMB space from Canva. They have made some very interesting acquisitions, very specifically around marketing automation, as well as a nice handy little CDP that they're bringing into their platform. So you're going to all of a sudden see the marketing automation space change from a very CRM-centric point of view that we've been living in for quite some time, thanks to folks like Salesforce, especially in that small to mid-sized business market. And we're going to see that start to shift. The center of gravity for that is going to shift around who's a CDP, central marketing automation platform. Who's going to put segments first? Who's going to put all that AI data ready at the center of the org? And they're going to make it cost effective and easy to use for those small size businesses and for the mid-sized business. Next week, of course, be on the lookout for a ton of breaking news that's going to be coming out of Adobe Summit. So it's going to be a whole lot of news, but I would say the biggest things that are breaking right now is all around how to make our content available and visible for those LLMs, because AI is still making news.
But Liz, I'm really worried about you. Did you mention CRM 2 or 3 times in your introduction?
I did.
CRM? I mean, did you eat too many Easter eggs or something?
Well,
I'm shell-shocked.
Listen.
I love it.
Everyone's going to talk about how CRM is dead, yet CRM is not dead. It's as dead as instant coffee and paper. So it's there. When they came out with instant coffee, they took out a giant print ad saying that coffee was going to be dead because of instant coffee. Just like that, CRM's dead, but CRM's not dead. Software's dead, software's not dead. What's actually happening is the center of gravity around the right sizing of CRM is actually starting to happen, and it's happening because of AI. So we're putting CRM where it belongs at that center of those transactional conversations, and it's putting more flexible data where it matters, as in the hands of AI. So I think we're beginning to get a lot smarter about where we put things. But it also enters a lot of questions into what's happening with those models. And Holger, you've been harping on some news that's been happening on the model front recently.
Yeah, the interesting news is not so much that Anthropic is going into cybersecurity. It's the way how the new model is being released, right? So you kind of like freeze the market and saying, we have a fantastic model, but it's so powerful. We have to start an initiative to talk to the vendors in the space to make sure that it really works, that they're up to speed with it, that we don't release it, give it in the wrong hands. I mean, that's specific to cybersecurity, no question about that. But it's an interesting new way of more powerful models being released. I can think of the same thing potentially happening in the self-driving space, right? People could get hurt if you have this ability not being tested pretty much in every area, in every aspect. So it's a new way of releasing models. OpenAI and Anthropic are, of course, duking it out, right? OpenAI finally has with Cursor a viable coding model. They slash prices at 50%, right? On the other side, Anthropic is working hard with Claude Work and is providing more capabilities to Claude Work, which OpenAI is desperately trying to catch up with the acquisition of OpenClaw and to make this enterprise ready. But OpenAI said, hey, we have observability already. We can orchestrate agents, right? So they can from using Elastic. So it's kind of interesting to see like new AI vendors duking it out like classic enterprise software vendors. But talking about enterprise software vendors, right? Good old Oracle had their major events last week in London and New York, and they moved the yardstick. Very interesting on the agentic side, of course, the packaged agents which are there for HR, and of course coming also to finance, supply chain, and I believe it's CRM. I forgot the third one. So that I say CRM one time tool is, right? And on the database side, the interesting thing is, like, we're running in this perspective. Like last year was about the data foundation. This year it's about the agentic framework. Next year is about people who say, oh my God, my successful agents are stressing my backend system. I have to innovate on my backend system side. And Oracle has pushed the envelope on massive availability down to sub-second, basically, using cloud and using standby capabilities for those backend systems. So kind of like ahead of the curve to get your backend systems ready for agentic AI success.
What I'd really like to see as far as AI success is, can we actually start basing the definition of AI success on how we are using it as opposed to what Wall Street interprets from it? Just saying,
exactly.
Just going to drop that there as we close out our news, because listen, if we all want to use OpenAI as the measure of success, we've also got to understand that they started shuttering some of their solutions, like Sora is gone. Bye, Sora.
Which was super hyped, right? But when Sora to me was the warning sign.
Oh my God! Yeah.
But it was the warning sign, however, because people creating Ghibli cartoons, precursor to Sora, took OpenAI down. So as an enterprise CEO, that means fine that you're doing some video or cartoon animation, but I need my level of service here, guys. And that's where 100%. All of these companies, I mean, OpenAI had Code Week, remember? last week.
Well, they had Code Week.
Very quickly grow up.
They got to grow up. They got to get some adults in the room, but we also have to stop using the room that has no adult as the room that we're going to base every other single vendor's yard post for. Oh, it's getting dicey out there. I know I shouldn't have said that out loud, but that's what we do here around CRTV. Listen, we got some great interviews that are going to be coming up. I think we're actually going to hear from Chirag about his short list. You're going to hear me blithering on about some of the other things, but we're going to see you at the end of the episode to say a formal farewell.
We have seen this movie before. It's 2:17 a.m. A revenue service breaks down. Checkout latency climbs. The alerts do what they do. They multiply. SRE sees symptoms across services. The application team sees recent deployments. The infrastructure team sees contention and saturation. Everyone is starting at a different piece of reality. Then a war room forms. People start dropping links. Dashboards get shared. Someone asks for a timeline. Someone else asks what changed. 10 minutes pass, then 30, then an hour. Visibility, it's not the outcome. Most teams can see more than ever. This is an operational bottleneck where signals arrive fast, but decisions don't. In that moment, the problem rarely comes down to whether the data exists or not, but whether the team can turn their data into an operational decision quickly, consistently, and confidently. Over the last decade, observability has helped teams see what has been happening across systems. AI Ops added pattern recognition. It helps reduce noise and highlighted anomalies. It pointed teams towards probable causes. Now the market is moving again. With the help of AI, autonomous IT platforms, which are a combination of observability, AI Ops, and SRE tools, are advancing this domain. The emphasis has shifted from collecting and visualizing signals to helping teams remove operational bottlenecks in a way that reduces manual effort during incidents, under pressure, with guardrails. These platforms exist because teams want a shorter path from something that looks wrong to here's what matters, here's why, and here's how you can fix it. This is why we at Constellation Research have a short list on autonomous IT platforms where we track these solutions. The autonomy shows up on a spectrum. First, the platform assist. It reduces noise. It connects signals and summarizes what is happening. Then it starts recommending. It proposes likely causes and suggests the next steps that are grounded in context. then it supports selective action. Automation becomes a reality in well-defined scenarios, under policy, with approvals and safeguards. The last part really matters. Teams want speed and they also want control. So autonomy grows around guardrails. It evolves as trust builds. Let's talk about Elastic's solution. But before we do that, let's look at how observability keeps changing. Data is growing, systems are becoming more distributed, telemetry volume is rising, cardinality is getting more painful, retention expectations are increasing, and on top of that, AI is pushing the demand even further. More context, more historical lookbacks, more linking across signals, more analysis per incident, more queries, more compute. If the data foundation is inefficient or expensive, it becomes a reason initiatives slow down, shrink, or even stall. Elastic starts from that very pressure point. The need to organize observability data in a way that remains cost-effective as telemetry and AI usage expand. Elastic has an advantage built over years. Elasticsearch sits at the center of their approach, designed to store, index, and search massive volumes of data very efficiently. That matters because observability is a data problem before it becomes a UI problem. A lot of teams still live in a reporting mindset. They build dashboards, they tune alerts, they react, then they investigate manually, often under pressure. Elastic's direction moves the center of gravity towards insights. The workflow becomes more direct. The platform helps identify the meaningful issue, explain why it matters, and accelerate the path towards likely causes and next best actions. The goal is less time spent assembling context and more time spent making decisions. This aligns with the autonomous IT platform storyline, turning signals into operational decisions at scale. Elastic is using agents to deliver this shift, where customers can use Elastic's Agent Builder to create agent-driven workflows for observability. Think of an agent as an operational teammate that helps during the moments that really matter. When an incident begins, an agent can pull together what changed, what looks anomalous, which services are involved, and where the blast radius might be heading. It can summarize, correlate, and propose investigation steps in plain language. It can help a practitioner move through the workflow faster without requiring them to click through the different dashboards to reconstruct the story that they are trying to piece through. The agent does not replace judgment. This is important. The agent does not replace judgment. It removes friction. It speeds up the part of incident response that usually burns time. Gathering context, validating hypotheses, and deciding where to look next. This is the bridge from standard observability to generative observability. The platform not only displays information, but it also helps produce understanding. Teams want systems that help them operate, not just observe. Elastic's bet is that you get there by solving the data problem first, and then using agents to turn that organized data into insights during incidents when time and clarity really matter. As telemetry expands and AI usage grows, the winners will be the platforms that keep the data layer efficient and make the intelligence layer operationally useful. Elastic is building towards that combination to deliver an autonomous IT platform. Check out their solutions if you have not.
Hello everybody, it's Holger Müller here from Constellation Research, live from Atlanta, where we just finished the Infor Analyst Summit. I'm here with my friends, esteemed colleagues, Ray and Mike. What are your takeaways?
Well, if anything, I think what we've seen is the continued consolidation of both data. I mean, certainly multiple use cases of customers coming in, talking about, massive data coming in from like 9, 10 different ERP systems now, really consolidated, simplified. But the real story here was around process. I mean, actually AI getting a job. That means process orientation. And there was some discussion around, productivity tools, chatbots, really not dropping to the bottom line of AI, to the bottom line of the company. But it's really now that we're looking at process, how do we start really bringing AI into the process? That you have what the boards love. You have measurable, you have accountability, and you actually have a way to continue to iterate on continuing to improve that process.
Yeah, I want to add to your point, right? It's really important, right? AI is getting a job, right? And AI is getting a job. And part of it is also the risk mitigation aspects that companies are actually looking for that capability. And what we've seen in the shift is really in the personas, right? It's not selling just to a CIO or CFO or CHRO in this case. It's actually now going to the CEO. Right. And what we've learned over the last, I'd say, 6 months is the CEOs are taking the role of leading the AI initiatives, and then everything's falling down from there. But of course, it's always the business requirements. And here at Infor, there's 60 specific sub-verticals and industries. They've gone deep into the process. We've been talking a long time that it's about experience, not expertise. They're bringing that expertise together around industry value chains, and that's driving it. So Holger, what's happening in the platform that making this different to be able to support this? Because this is not like ERP and HCM and workforce management floating around here.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about Infor, who started with an EAP, an enterprise application platform, earliest back in 2013. An EAP is helping companies to integrate for data, to extend the existing system, and to build new things. It's all about what we talked about before now, about building agentic applications, which are using what Michael was saying in post-intelligence graph, but also the vertical capabilities, all of that put together. And that's one of the first things we saw here, a really consistent conversational UX, right? Which pulls into the conversational experience the content of both from a data lake perspective and from a transaction perspective in one user experience.
And Mike, they're looking about cloud migration, they're talking about process mining, they're talking about where RPA, automation, AI, it's all coming together and it's sitting in there. Do you think they've got data decisions here, Mike?
They're actually building the baseline for that. And they're doing it because they have the full vertical. If anything, it's something you're hearing in the industry, which is they're executing on the business domain context graph. I mean, I hate to use that word over and over again because we're starting to get into the world of context washing. But you really are seeing that depth of expertise where you're bringing in the semantics they get from Burst, you're bringing in together the process in the IPC, they call it, which is all of the, hundreds of thousands of different processes they have down to the micro verticals that they actually focus in on. It's not breadth, this is about depth.
Holger, we were at the beginning of Infor Ion.
Yes.
This thing has come a long way.
Wow. Now we're going back.
We've got a platform here that actually could be separated from the rest of the company. Are we there yet?
Correct. Technology-wise, absolutely there. And with an amazing productivity, right? To where you go to an analyst event where in the last session of the briefings, the HCM session, you learn in Substring that they've built over 200 agents, which leverage over 2,000 tools, which is unheard of for the whole HCM space, which begs all the different types of questions. But the platform really works. The AI factory, which builds the agents behind the works, it's all running the public cloud on AWS. So it's a platform which is so important right now because people don't know how to run their processes in the 21st century.
Yeah, that's right.
Not just to mention AI, just infinite computing, like what to do with infinite compute, how many times do I close my books, do I close them all the time, in every aspect of the stack. And this means experimentation, and experimentation happens with platforms and EAPs.
Well, what's what we've seen. Every part of this event is not about, hey, I selected this, I bought this. It's, I put this in and it works, right? And that's the one thing we saw about the customer case studies. We can't name the customers for confidentiality reasons, but these are big airlines, these are big industries, these are manufacturers, discrete process,
and
these
global
big projects.
Global. Not just from the US. Before it was very US-centric, right? That's the biggest difference to before. You can look up for the case studies in our library, right? Miller Industries, we invite them out in great case study.
Of course.
But I remember the name because Miller Industries, right? not relationship, not this, but new customers, right? So definitely more momentum of people adopting the Velocity Suite, which is always good.
Yeah, and then sort of on the discrete and the process side, we're saying deep depth. That whole point about going to depth, not breadth, is important. I think what they've done is, look, we're in an era where you've got to know your business processes down to the level, and you have to know how they're interconnected on the upstream and the downstream part of the data. When you bring that together, then you can really think about automation. All this stuff about automation and AI, you shouldn't even go there if you don't even understand your processes and what the implications are.
And right, I think you hit the main point, which was the speed at which this goes into. One of my favorite case studies, I met with a discrete manufacturer, and they were talking about the fact that they were able to get into not just the process and understand the process mining aspect of it, but they took a very much a multi-object view, so they can actually look at how the process, the PO, affected by vendors are affecting their downstream process to be able to hit their SLAs. And how are they able to do this within 3 weeks of going live on it? It's because the data was actually there. The process and the models were actually already baked into the platform. And that gets into that level of vertical integration.
Well, if you're an Infor customer, there's great news in front of you. If you're an Infor prospect, why should people consider Infor, Mike? It's
around speed to value. When you have that level of understanding of the vertical that you're delivering in, be able to get to the process and automation very quickly.
What about you, Holger?
Yeah, and the speed to value comes from the platform automation that Infor has played in the past, right? They have a data lake since 2013. Yes. All the ERP competition announced a data lake in 2025. None of them are even operational. So that at some point is showable, visible in products, and the velocity, pun intended here with the velocity suite, to build the automation that you need in the agentic AI era.
You know, for me, it's about interoperability. In the long run, there's an IT-OT integration that's going to have to happen. We're getting to the point where observability gets us to situational awareness. And really, at the end of the day, what companies want to be able to do is they need to manage their precision and their order of operations. And this is what we're seeing today. So live here from Infor, we're here in Atlanta. And more importantly, we're near the new Infor headquarters will be opening up pretty soon. So see you, everybody.
Ooh, Holger. That was a lot of stuff that we managed to cover in a very short amount of time. You and I are both on the road, I think, for like the next 2 months straight. So there's going to be a lot more news or a lot more segments. Be sure to follow everything that is happening with Constellation Research. You can check us out on Twitter. It's still at ConstellationR. You can check us out on LinkedIn for some of those longer insights. We got blogs, we got videos, we got lots of things.
But for the geeks out there, this was episode 2 to the power of 7. There's only one episode like this. You have to wait another 128 episodes to get the next 2 to the power of something. So if you liked it, let us know. If you promote it,
I can't with the math.
Something, let us know.
I can't with the math with you. Now we're
had to bring that in. 128, beautiful 128.
We got it. Well, listen, episode 129, of course, is going to be with the dynamic duo of Larry Dignan. Oh, God, blew that one. And Martin Schneider. But there's going to be a whole lot more news, folks. We're going to see a lot more segments and maybe even some changes in CRTV. We're plotting. If there's something you want to see from us, hit us up. Let us know. See you next time, guys. What is wrong with my camera? Fuck.
Do you guys like this?
Oh. No. That's way too much.
The episode
Dude,
number.
You will talk about the people at the airport. Who knows? But, like once we hit record, all bets are off.
We have...
I'm just trying to figure out what the damn news is.
We'll talk
okay,
about...
you want to get going? Can Wall Street, can we actually stop allowing Wall Street to determine all of our AI strategies, please? For the love of God.
What's the episode number?
128.
128. Wow.
128.
Nice power of 2. Nice power of 2. 2 to the power of 7.
This is why we end up going 15 minutes in our
We're
intro.
not fully 256 bits.
Just so you know.
Good to go?
Okay, yep, go. You go. Fix your face. Let's go.